The Los Angeles Lakers are heading into Friday night's rivalry matchup against the Los Angeles Clippers with some very welcome injury news. Head coach JJ Redick confirmed after Thursday's practice session that star guard Luka Doncic is expected to be available and ready to play in what promises to be one of the most anticipated games of the second half of the 2025-26 NBA season. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Doncic had been sidelined for the Lakers' last 4 games due to a hamstring strain, an injury that caused real concern for a franchise with clear championship ambitions. Coming out of the NBA All-Star break, however, all signs point to the Slovenian superstar being fully healthy and eager to return to action. Redick did not hold back when speaking to reporters on Thursday, confirming that the team expects to have a full roster available for the first time in several weeks. Austin won't have a minutes restriction, and as of about 35 to 45 seconds ago, it looks like we'll have everyone available tomorrow, the head coach said, making clear that the injury cloud that has followed the Lakers for much of the season has finally lifted heading into a game against their crosstown rivals. The Doncic situation had been closely monitored throughout the All-Star weekend. He made a brief appearance in the All-Star game itself, playing roughly 5 minutes on Sunday, which served as a real-time test for the troublesome hamstring. After the game, Doncic said the injury felt good and that he was confident about his health moving forward. Earlier reports had already indicated he was expected to be cleared after the break, and those reports proved to be fully accurate once the team reconvened for practice this week. Equally important is the update on Austin Reaves, widely regarded as the team's third star alongside Doncic and LeBron James. Reaves had been nursing a calf injury and was placed on a minutes restriction of around 25 minutes per game after initially returning to the lineup. He had also been coming off the bench in the 5 most recent contests as the medical staff carefully managed his workload and avoided any risk of a setback. With that restriction now officially lifted, Reaves is expected to return to the starting lineup and resume his normal high minutes role that has made him one of the most impactful two-way guards in the Western Conference this season. The trio of Doncic, James, and Reaves has been an exciting matchup nightmare for opposing teams on paper all season long, but injuries have repeatedly prevented them from spending extended time on the floor together. That frustrating pattern appears set to end as the Lakers push toward the playoffs with a fully healthy and loaded roster for the first time in months. Doncic has been one of the most dominant offensive players in the NBA this season, currently leading the entire league in scoring at 32.8 points per game. He also ranks 3rd in the NBA in assists at 8.6 per contest, cementing his status as a genuine MVP candidate in his first full season wearing the purple and gold. His production has elevated the Lakers into one of the stronger teams in the Western Conference standings, despite a season plagued by injury absences from key contributors at various stages. The Clippers matchup carries extra significance as a high-stakes local rivalry game, with major playoff seeding implications in a tightly contested Western Conference. The Lakers managed to stay competitive during the injury stretch, posting a 2-2 record without their primary scorer. The only genuinely poor result in that stretch was a lopsided loss to the San Antonio Spurs, though it must be noted that game also saw Reaves, James, DeAndre Ayton, and Marcus Smart all sitting out simultaneously, making it far from a true measure of what this team is capable of at full strength. Another positive development heading into the second half of the season is the passing of the NBA trade deadline. Players who had been the subject of trade speculation throughout the year can now focus entirely on basketball without the constant distraction of potential roster moves hanging over the locker room. Forward Rui Hachimura recently spoke openly about how relieved the entire group feels now that the deadline has come and gone, saying the team feels ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead for the remainder of the season. The question that has lingered over the Lakers all year, whether this team is truly a championship caliber contender, remains to be answered on the court. They have posted a competitive record in the Western Conference, but some performances and key losses have raised doubts about how they might match up in a playoff series against the conference's best teams. With Doncic and Reaves both fully healthy, head coach JJ Redick now gets his clearest window of the entire season to identify the right rotations and lineup combinations to maximize this group's potential. Friday night against the Clippers marks the beginning of that crucial stretch run toward the postseason. This is also a matchup where the Lakers will want to set a tone coming out of the break. The Clippers have long been a thorn in the side of the Lakers, and with both squads occupying important positions in the Western Conference standings, every game from here on out carries extra weight. For Lakers fans who have been waiting all season to see their best lineup healthy and clicking on all cylinders, Friday night is finally that moment. Now that the NBA trade deadline has come and gone, the league is already shifting its gaze toward what promises to be a fascinating offseason, and LeBron James, for one, is keeping a very close eye on what the Washington Wizards are putting together for next season. Anthony Davis, who spent several influential seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers before being dealt as part of the blockbuster move to acquire Luka Doncic, found himself on the move again at this year's trade deadline after a difficult and injury-plagued stint with the Dallas Mavericks. His time in Dallas never gained real momentum. Injuries to Davis himself and to fellow star Kyrie Irving derailed any hope of consistency, and the combination of poor results and lingering fan anger over the Doncic deal eventually pushed the franchise to move on, trading Davis to the Washington Wizards before the deadline passed. His arrival in Washington comes alongside that of Trae Young, who was also acquired via trade this season. That pairing of two former All-Stars has instantly made the Wizards one of the most intriguing teams to track heading into next year, even if neither player is expected to suit up again for the remainder of the current season. LeBron James spoke extensively about this new Wizards situation on the Mind the Game podcast with former NBA star Steve Nash, and he made absolutely no effort to hide his genuine fascination with the possibilities this roster represents. James said clearly that he is very intrigued and very interested in watching what unfolds in Washington next season. He expressed that Davis's talent level is simply out of this world, and that Young brings a uniquely dangerous offensive game to the table. Young's ability to run the pick and roll, hit shots from deep, and create lob opportunities makes him the kind of player who can unlock a big man like Davis in ways that simply did not happen during Davis's time with the Mavericks. When the two of them figure out their rhythm together with a full training camp and offseason preparation behind them, opposing defenses are going to face real problems. But it was not only the two veteran stars that captured James's attention during the podcast. He also highlighted Washington's collection of young talent as an equally compelling reason to follow this team closely. After facing Washington just 2 weeks earlier, James singled out French big man Alex Sarr, praising his soft touch around the basket and his overall feel for the game at a young age. He spoke positively about Keyshawn George, calling him a pretty good young player with a bright future ahead. And he also mentioned rookie guard Trey Johnson, the Texas product who adds another layer of potential to an already promising young core. They have some pieces, James said, noting that Washington has assembled something genuinely worth discussing for the first time in several years. He also made a point about motivation, expressing belief that both Davis and Young will enter next season with an intense desire to prove themselves after being traded away from their previous team. Davis has Atlanta on his mind after his time with the Lakers, and Atlanta is on Young's mind after being moved out of Georgia. That chip-on-the-shoulder dynamic could be a powerful driving force for what this Wizards team becomes next season. The bond between Davis and LeBron James runs deep. The two were the central figures of the Los Angeles Lakers' 2020 NBA championship during the bubble season in Orlando, forming one of the franchise's most dominant duos in recent memory. The decision to trade Davis away to acquire Doncic was controversial and difficult for all parties involved. Davis never managed to shake the turbulence of that situation in Dallas, and the injuries compounded an already challenging environment. Now, with a genuine clean slate in Washington, Davis has every reason to channel all of that into a motivated return to elite basketball. The Wizards also bring a roster built with real depth and interesting complementary pieces beyond just Davis and Young. Bilal Coulibaly and Bub Carrington add athleticism and defensive versatility on the wings, giving the team dimensions that were missing in previous seasons. The combination of established all-star talent guiding a hungry group of young players is exactly the formula that can accelerate development and produce surprising results quickly. LeBron James clearly sees something special brewing in Washington, and based on what the Wizards have put together at the deadline, that assessment appears well-founded. The rest of the NBA will be watching closely when this new era in Washington tips off next October. The question for Davis specifically is whether he can rediscover the physical dominance that made him one of the league's most feared big men. His combination of size, shot blocking, rebounding, and scoring ability is rare, and when he is healthy and locked in, few players in the NBA are more difficult to contain. Washington is betting that a fresh environment, the right offensive system around Trae Young, and a roster filled with eager young teammates will bring out the best version of Davis once again. If that happens, the Wizards could go from a forgotten team to a legitimate Eastern Conference story very quickly. LeBron James will certainly have his eyes on it. While the Lakers focus on finishing the regular season strong with their roster now healthy, the franchise is already reportedly mapping out an ambitious offseason strategy that could reshape the team in a dramatic way. According to a report from Sam Amick of The Athletic, the Los Angeles Lakers are preparing an all-out pursuit of Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo when the NBA offseason begins. The report places the Lakers among the most motivated teams to try to bring the two-time MVP to Los Angeles, with the goal of pairing him alongside franchise cornerstone Luka Doncic. The combination of Doncic and Antetokounmpo on the same team would represent one of the most formidable duos in the entire NBA, creating matchup problems that virtually no defense in the league could consistently solve. Antetokounmpo has publicly said all the right things about remaining committed to the Bucks. As recently as the All-Star Weekend, the Greek Freak embraced the spotlight and spoke positively about Milwaukee's future. However, the NBA trade rumor machine surrounding him is unlikely to slow down once the regular season concludes, and the Lakers intend to be front and center when those conversations intensify. Part of what makes the Lakers' position interesting is how it has changed since the February trade deadline. At that point, the franchise did not have the right combination of trade assets to put together a package capable of competing for Antetokounmpo. The Bucks, for their part, decided to hold on to their franchise player through the deadline, keeping all options open for the summer. That timing actually works in the Lakers' favor, as the team will have additional assets available in an offseason deal that they did not have just weeks ago. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still widely considered one of the best players on the planet. A two-time NBA Most Valuable Player and one-time NBA champion with Milwaukee, his combination of size, athleticism, strength, and skill is virtually unmatched in the modern game. Standing over 6 feet 11 inches and capable of initiating offense from anywhere on the floor, finishing through contact at the rim, defending multiple positions, and playing with relentless energy, Antetokounmpo represents the kind of impact player who can change the entire trajectory of a franchise. Pairing him with Doncic, who is leading the NBA in scoring this season and is one of the game's most creative offensive orchestrators, would give the Lakers a foundation that rivals anything currently assembled by the other contenders in the league. Doncic's ability to create off the dribble, shoot from range, and find teammates with elite passing would complement Antetokounmpo's downhill attacking style in a way that could make opposing coaches lose sleep at night. However, the Lakers are not the only interested party. The Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, and Minnesota Timberwolves are all expected to enter the sweepstakes for the Bucks star if he becomes available this summer. The competition for his services will be fierce, and the Lakers will need to put together a compelling trade package that outbids all those rivals. The challenge will be assembling the right combination of players, draft picks, and other assets to convince Milwaukee to pull the trigger. There is also the ongoing uncertainty surrounding LeBron James and his future with the franchise. James's current contract expires at the end of this season, and while he is not expected to retire, reports indicate that he is genuinely considering his options in free agency, including a possible reunion with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Whether James returns to Los Angeles or moves on will have a significant effect on how the Lakers approach the Giannis pursuit, both in terms of available cap space and the overall direction of the roster they are trying to build. If James departs, the Lakers will need Antetokounmpo even more urgently to give Doncic a true co-star capable of carrying a championship-level team alongside him. If James somehow re-signs, a potential 3-star lineup of Doncic, Antetokounmpo, and James would be the most talked about roster construction in recent NBA memory. Either way, the Lakers are clearly signaling to the league that they have no intention of standing still this offseason. The Giannis pursuit is officially underway, and the coming months will determine whether Los Angeles can pull off another franchise-altering blockbuster move. The road to landing Antetokounmpo will not be simple or straightforward. Milwaukee has been his home for his entire career, and he has expressed genuine love for the city, the organization, and the fans who have supported him through everything. Convincing him to waive or allow a trade will require both a strong trade package and a compelling vision of what success in Los Angeles could look like. The Lakers believe that vision, pairing him with Doncic on a team capable of competing for titles, is an argument worth making loudly and persistently throughout the summer months. If history has taught the league anything, it is that the Los Angeles Lakers should never be underestimated when they decide to pursue a superstar.